Good morning, my friends. Happy Tuesday. Hope you all had a good start to your week. That's awesome, Kay. Back at it today, right? 5 days a week you have to drive for the radiation. We're praying for you. All right, my friends. April 9th. Hannah's prayer for a son. 1 Samuel 1, 9 through 18. Once, after a sacrificial meal at Shiloh, Hannah got up and went to pray. Eli, the priest, was sitting at his customary place beside the entrance of the tabernacle. Hannah was in deep anguish, crying bitterly as she prayed to the Lord. And she made this vow: O Lord of heaven's armies, if you will look upon my sorrow and answer my prayer and give me a son, then I will give him back to you. He will be yours for his entire lifetime. And as a sign that he had been dedicated to the Lord, his hair will never be cut. As she was praying to the Lord, Eli watched her. Seeing her lips moving but hearing no sound, he thought she had been drinking. Must you come here drunk? He demanded. Throw away your wine. Oh, no, sir, she replied. I haven't been drinking wine or anything stronger, but I am very discouraged, and I was pouring out my heart to the Lord. Don't think I am a wicked woman, for I've been praying out of great anguish and sorrow. In that case, Eli said, Go in peace. May the God of Israel grant the request you have asked of him. Oh, thank you, sir, she exclaimed. Then she went back and began to eat again. And she was no longer sad. Samuel's birth and dedication, 1 Samuel 1, 19 through 28. The entire family got up early the next morning and went to worship the Lord once more. Then they returned home to Ramah. When Elkanah slept with Hannah, the Lord remembered her plea. And in due time she gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, for she said, I asked the Lord for him. In the next year, Elkanah and his family went on their annual trip to offer a sacrifice to the Lord and to keep his vows. But Hannah did not go. She told her husband, Wait until the baby is weaned. Then I will take him to the tabernacle and leave him there with the Lord permanently. Whatever you think is best, Elkanah agreed. Stay here for now, and may the Lord help you keep your promise. So she stayed home and nursed the boy until he was weaned. When the child was weaned, Hannah took him to the tabernacle in Shiloh. They brought along a 3-year-old bull for a sacrifice and a basket of flour and some wine. After sacrificing the bull, they brought the boy to Eli. Sir, do you remember me? Hannah asked. I am the very woman who stood here several years ago praying to the Lord. I asked the Lord to give me this boy, and he granted my request. Now I am giving him to the Lord, and he belongs to the Lord, and he will belong to the Lord his whole life. And they worshiped the Lord there. Hannah's prayer of praise, 1 Samuel 2, 1 through 11. Then Hannah prayed, My heart rejoices in the Lord. The Lord has made me strong. Now I have an answer for my enemies. I rejoice because you rescued me. No one is holy like the Lord. There is no one beside you. There is no rock like our God. Stop acting so proud and haughty. Don't speak with such arrogance, for the Lord is a God who knows what you have done. He will judge your actions. The bow of the mighty is now broken, and those who stumbled are now strong. Those who were well fed are now starving, and those who were starving are now full. The childless woman now has 7 children, and the woman with many children wastes away. The Lord gives both death and life. He brings some down to the grave, but raises others up. The Lord makes some poor and others rich. He brings some down and lifts others up. He lifts the poor from the dust and the needy from the garbage dump. He sets them among princes, placing them in seats of honor. For all the earth is the Lord's, and he has set the world in order. He will protect his faithful ones, but the wicked will disappear in darkness. No one will succeed by strength alone. Those who fight against the Lord will be shattered. He thunders against them from the heavens. The Lord judges throughout the earth. He gives power to his king. He increases the strength of the anointed one. Then Elkanah returned home to Ramah without Samuel, and the boy served the Lord by assisting Eli the priest. Eli's wicked sons, 1 Samuel 2, 12 through 26. Now the sons of Eli were scoundrels who had no respect for the Lord or for their duties as priests. Whenever anyone offered a sacrifice, Eli's sons would send over a servant with a 3-pronged fork. While the meat of the sacrificed animal was still boiling, the servant would stick the fork into the pot and demand that whatever it brought up be given to Eli's sons. All the Israelites who came to worship at Shiloh were treated this way. Sometimes the servants would even come would come even before the animal's fat had been burned on the altar. He would demand raw meat before it had been boiled so that it could be used for roasting. The man offering the sacrifice might reply, "Take as much as you want, but the fat must be burned first." Then the servant would demand, "No, give it to me now, or I'll take it by force." So the sin of these young men was very serious in the Lord's sight, for they treated the Lord's offerings with contempt. But Samuel, though he was only a boy, served the Lord. He wore a linen garment like that of a priest. Each year his mother made a small coat for him and brought it to him when she came with her husband for the sacrifice. Before they returned home, Eli would bless Elkanah and his wife and say, "May the Lord give you other children to take the place of this one she gave to the Lord." And the Lord blessed Hannah, and she conceived and gave birth to 3 sons and 2 daughters. Meanwhile, Samuel grew up in the presence of the Lord. Now Eli was very old, but he was aware of what his sons were doing to the people of Israel. He knew, for instance, that his sons were seducing the young women who assisted at the entrance of the tabernacle. Eli said to them, "I have been hearing reports from all the people about the wicked things you are doing. Why do you keep sinning? You must stop, my sons. The reports I hear among the Lord's people are not good. If someone sins against another person, God can mediate for the guilty party. But if someone sins against the Lord, who can intercede?" But Eli's sons wouldn't listen to their father, for the Lord was already planning to put them to death. Meanwhile, the boy Samuel grew taller and grew in favor with the Lord and with the people. A warning for Eli's family. 1 Samuel 2:27 through 36. One day, a man of God came to Eli and gave him this message from the Lord. "I revealed myself to your ancestors when they were Pharaoh's slaves in Egypt. I chose your ancestor Aaron from among all the tribes of Israel to be my priest, to offer sacrifices on my altar, to burn incense, and to wear the priestly vest as he served me. And I assigned the sacrificial offerings to you priests. So why do you scorn my sacrifices and offerings? Why do you give your sons more honor than you give me? For you and they have become fat from the best offerings of my people. Therefore, the Lord, the God of Israel, says, I promised that your branch, the tribe of Levi, would always be my priest, but I will honor those who honor me, and I will despise those who think lightly of me. The time is coming when I will put an end to your family, so it will no longer serve as my priests. All the members of your family will die before their time. None will reach old age. You will watch with envy as I pour out prosperity on the people of Israel, but no members of your family will ever live out their days. The few not cut off from serving at my altar will survive, but only so their eyes can go blind and their hearts break, and their children will die a violent death. And to prove that what I have said will come true, I will cause your 2 sons, Hophni and Phinehas, to die on the same day. Then I will raise up a faithful priest who will serve me and do what I desire. I will establish his family, and they will be my priests. They will be priests to my anointed kings forever. Then all of your surviving family will bow before him, begging for money and food. Please, they will say, give us jobs among the priests so we will have enough to eat. The Lord speaks to Samuel, 1 Samuel 3:1 through 14. Meanwhile, the boy Samuel served the Lord by assisting Eli. Now in those days, messages from the Lord were very rare, and visions were quite uncommon. One night, Eli, who was almost blind by now, had gone to bed. The lamp of God had not yet gone out, and Samuel was sleeping in the tabernacle near the ark of God. Suddenly, the Lord called out, "Samuel!" "Yes," Samuel replied. "What is it?" He got up and ran to Eli. "Here I am. Did you call me?" "I didn't call you," Eli replied. "Go back to bed." So he did. Then the Lord called out again, "Samuel!" Again, Samuel got up and went to Eli. "Here I am. Did you call me?" "I didn't call you, my son," Eli said. "Go back to bed." Samuel did not yet know the Lord because he had never had a message from the Lord before. So the Lord called a third time, and once more Samuel got up and went to Eli. "Here I am. Did you call me?" Then Eli realized it was the Lord who was calling the boy. So he said to Samuel, "Go and lie down again, and if someone calls again, say, 'Speak, Lord, your servant is listening.'" So Samuel went back to bed. And the Lord came and called as before, "Samuel, Samuel." And Samuel replied, "Speak, your servant is listening." Then the Lord said to Samuel, I am about to do a shocking thing in Israel. I am going to carry out all of my threats against Eli and his family from beginning to end. I have warned him that judgment is coming upon his family forever because his sons are blaspheming God, and he hasn't disciplined them. So I have vowed that the sins of Eli and his sons will never be forgiven by sacrifices or offerings. Samuel speaks for the Lord. 1 Samuel 3:15 through 4:1. Samuel stayed in bed until morning, then got up and opened the doors of the tabernacle as usual. He was afraid to tell Eli what the Lord had said to him. But Eli called out to him, Samuel, my son. Here I am, Samuel replied. What did the Lord say to you? Tell me everything. And may God strike you and even kill you if you hide anything from me. So Samuel told Eli everything he didn't. So Samuel told Eli everything. He didn't hold anything back. It is the Lord's will, Eli replied. Let him do what he thinks is best. As Samuel grew up, the Lord was with him, and everything Samuel said proved to be reliable. And all of Israel, from Dan in the north to Beersheba in the south, knew that Samuel was confirmed as a prophet of the Lord. The Lord continued to appear at Shiloh and gave messages to Samuel there at the tabernacle. And Samuel's words went out to all the people of Israel. The Philistines capture the ark, 1 Samuel 4:1b through 11. At that time, Israel was at war with the Philistines. The Israelite army was camped near Ebenezer, and the Philistines were at Aphek. The Philistines attacked and defeated the army of Israel, killing 4,000 men. After the battle was over, the troops retreated to their camp, and the elders of Israel asked, Why did the Lord allow us to be defeated by the Philistines? Then they said, Let us bring the ark of the covenant of the Lord from Shiloh. If we carry it into battle with us, it will save us from our enemies. So they sent men to Shiloh to bring the ark of the covenant of the Lord of heaven's armies, who is enthroned between the cherubim. Hophni and Phinehas, the sons of Eli, were also there with the ark of the covenant of God. When all the Israelites saw the ark of the covenant of the Lord coming into camp, their shouts of joy was so loud it made the ground shake. What's going on? The Philistines asked. What's all the shouting about in the Hebrew camp? When they were told it was because the ark of the Lord had arrived, they panicked. The gods have come into their camp, they cried. This is a disaster. We have never had to face anything like this before. Help! Who can save us from these mighty gods of Israel? They are the same gods who destroyed the Egyptians with plagues when Israel was in the wilderness. Fight as never before, Philistines. If you don't, we will become the Hebrew slaves just as they have been ours. Stand up like men and fight. So the Philistines fought desperately, and Israel was defeated again. The slaughter was great. 30,000 Israelite soldiers died that day. The survivors turned and fled to their tents. The ark of God was captured, and Hophni and Phinehas, the two sons of Eli, were killed. Okay. All right, let's pull up Believe Jesus Loves You. We're on page 117. The poem is called Narrow Road to Life. This road of life is a narrow way. This road is not found in darkness. Jesus, the light of day. The road is located in the forest with many things to darken the way. If your mind is not renewed in the word daily, wrong words you will say. There are stones in the road, you'll stumble and fall. Get up, praising Jesus before stinking thinking has gathered to call. People are depicted as trees blocking the path of light. Your mind is clouded. Death and unbelief affects your sight. Behind a bush, a roaring lion is hidden, waiting for you to let down. The world has crept in. He's got you, never even made a sound. This road is not an easy road, but Jesus will give you the keys to life's door. Very few that find, because you must be taught and receive the word to stay on the road of life forevermore. July 16th, 2004. 1 Timothy 3:6 says, Jesus said, the road is narrow and few there be that find it. If you haven't found the right road, my prayer is that you do. All right. Hold on, I'm sitting on a book. It's going to fall. okay. Always looking at the bright side. It's an easy road, she says. I know, I do, Mallory. I lost one in the move, and one is in this kitchen somewhere. It fell out of my Bible one day, my bookmark from Halen, and it's here. I just haven't, I can't find it. One, I had two. One I lost in the move from Maine to North Carolina. I lost it. I lost a couple of books too. I don't know how that's possible. All right, Dalton Bradford. Requesting prayers for the Bradford family in Clarksville, Tennessee. They lost their 20-year-old to cancer. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine what they're going through. We will definitely pray, Tammy. All right, my friends, let's go ahead and join in prayer. God, our Father, we thank you today for being here with us. Your promises that where two or more are gathered, you are in the midst. And I know that you are in the midst with us now. And I thank you and praise you for that, God. I thank you for all the women here and their faithfulness to come to devotions and listen and to study the word and to grow closer to you each day. God, I know there are many requests here and heavy hearts for a lot of people and many unspoken requests, God. And I just lift them all up to you. We think specifically today of Bob and Kay as they travel for the next treatment. And I just pray for safety on the road for them and a good time of connection as they drive back and forth each day and get to spend this time together, God. And I thank you for both Bob and Kay. And I just pray that the treatments will go well and that they will serve their purpose. And Bob will not feel a lot of negative effects from the chemo and radiation. God, we also lift up the Bradford family after the loss of their son and how devastated they must be and their community after the loss of a young life. And God, I ask for your comfort for them. I ask for your peace that passes understanding because there is no way to possibly understand the loss of a 20-year-old. And I just pray for your peace to be on them. God, we also lift up Gina to you today, and I pray for your healing for her and her heart and for peace for her today as she makes plans for a funeral and walks through all that difficult stuff that has to be done after the loss of a loved one and how hard it is in the grieving process to go through all of that. I just pray for your strength to be with her today. And I thank you for the community that has surrounded her and is lifting her up and supporting her during this time. God, we just praise you and thank you. I thank you for this ministry that you've put here. And I just pray that you will continue to bless it and pray that you will help me to I just pray that you will help me to lead this ministry the way you want it led. And help me, strengthen me as I walk through this and deal with the difficulties that come along with leading a ministry. I just pray that you will strengthen me as well. God, I just thank you for all these women here that support me and help me. And I just thank you. I thank you for this opportunity. In your precious name I pray. Amen. All right, my friends. Thank you. Sorry. It's been a rough few days. I don't do well with hate mail and nasty messages, and I get a million nice messages and a wonderful support, but it's the very fiery messages that I receive privately that are really, really difficult. And it shouldn't bother me the way it does because I know they are not the majority, but it is still very difficult some of the messages are very, very harsh and very hard. And I should know that they're coming from Satan, but they're still very difficult. So I have a very hard time some days not getting discouraged. And that's been one of these weeks. And I'll get over it. But right now I'm going to sit here and cry for a minute. So, all right, my friends. I love you. Thanks for joining me. I don't think I'm going to be live for breakfast this morning. I've got to get my head on straight because I have a lot of one-on-ones today to work with, and I need my head in the game. So I'm going to sit here and pray for a while. And before I do that, I thank you. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.